Ladies and gentlemen, good day and welcome to the Power Mech Project Limited earnings conference call hosted by Nirmal Bang Equities Private Limited. As a reminder, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode, and there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during the conference call, please signal an operator by pressing star then zero on your touchtone phone. Please note that this conference is being recorded. I now hand the conference over to Mr. Mayank Bhandari, Research Analyst at Nirmal Bang Equities. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Thank you, Aisha. Nirmal Bang Equities welcome you all to the Q4 FY21 results conference call of Power Mech Projects Limited. The management is represented by Mr. S.K. Ramaiah, Director Business Development, and Mr. J. Satish, Chief Financial Officer. I now hand over the call to the management for their opening remarks, post which we can take questions from the participants. Over to you, sir.
Thanks, Mayank. Good afternoon, and thank you everyone for joining the earnings conference call for the quarter and year ended 31st March 2021. Along with me, I have Mr. S.K. Ramaiah, Director Business Development, and Mr. Jigar from SGA, our Investor Relation Advisor. We hope you and your family members are safe and healthy and are taking all the precautionary measures amidst the second wave of COVID-19. I hope you have received the earnings release presentation and the results. With the country undergoing a severe second wave of COVID-19 infection, ensuring that we are following all the necessary guidelines to safeguard our employees at all our sites, as well as ensuring that construction and maintenance operations are running smoothly. Power Mech projects have resumed smoothly across the board, and the order book is ever increasing, with not just the quantum of orders increasing, but also the quality of orders, partnerships, and nature of work seeing a steady rise. The company is now into its 21 years journey with a clear division into 3 decades. The first decade being characterized by the foray into power, taking on and completing several large projects and laying the groundwork. The second decade spent in the consolidating the progress made in the power sector and making strategic foray into the non-power sector. Having diversified and proven with exceptional performance, the company aims to spend the third decade growing upon its presence in the power sector as the country's largest O&M service provider, and replicate the feat in the non-power sectors with a greater focus on the new strategic areas of railways, water projects, material handling, steel, petrochemical, and international footprint expansion too. To update you with this quarter's development before your question and answer session, the reported total income for quarter 4 FY21 is rupees 760 crores. The EBITDA is rupees 79 crores, and the reported PAT is rupees 36 crores. Whereas quarter 4 of last financial year, the total income was rupees 598 crores, and the reported EBITDA was rupees 69 crores, and PAT was rupees 31 crores. And the revenue mix for quarter 4 is as follows. Erection business has contributed rupees 166 crores, civil around rupees 329 crores, operation and maintenance close to rupees 223 crores, and the electrical business had added rupees 36 crores. And other income is close to rupees 6 crores. In the same quarter in the previous year, the mechanical business contributed rupees 189 crores. In civil, we did around rupees 188 crores. O&M business contributed almost 173 crores, and electrical business, it was 42 crores. Similarly, the reported total income for entire year FY21 is rupees 1900 crores and the reported EBITDA is rupees 58 crores and PAT is rupees 46 crores negative. Similarly, if you see last financial year, the reported total income was rupees 2174 crores, EBITDA was rupees 280 crores and the PAT was rupees 31 crores. In terms of segmental contribution, erection we did close to rupees 446 crores, whereas last year we did close to rupees 749 crores. Similarly, civil it was 687 crores, whereas last year it was rupees 617 crores. O&M it is close to 661 crores, whereas last year it was 648 crores. And electrical segment it is rupees 86 crores, whereas last year it was 147 crores. The overall execution cycle has improved a lot from 40% during quarter 1 of FY21 that has improved to 100% level during quarter 4 of FY21. Power Mech has developed bandwidth in terms of infrastructure and capability to execute projects in the range of rupees 600 crores to 850 crores per quarter. Execution capability is well set across all the verticals. This is well evident from our quarter 4 execution cycle, rupees 760 crores, which is almost all-time high revenue in the history of Power Mech journey in a quarter. COVID-related cost, including safety, material movement, manpower handling, and lower productivity cost due to COVID protocols, etc., has come down comparatively as compared to quarter 1, quarter 2, and quarter 3. However, we have seen substantial improvement in our operations during the year. Similarly, the margin profile is also expected to improve gradually and going to be healthy. Power Mech has a large employee base working across the globe. Majority of the subcontractor cost includes manpower cost also. The labor situation is much improved this time around as compared to the first wave, wherein there was a mass relocation and migration observed leading to shutting down of sites. This time the situation has been handled proactively with all safety precautions and measures taken at all sites, resulting in seamless continuation and timely completion of the projects. Finance cost in quarter 4 has been on downward trend because a lot of measures have been taken to control the finance cost, with the continuous decrease of debt level, which is right now on gross basis stands at rupees 470 crores, which after removing the deposits come down to 340 crores at net level, and will continue to be reduced over the next 2 years, making the balance sheet further linear and efficiencies being seen in the finance cost. Moving to other balance sheet items, the receivable stands at rupees 534 crores, whereas it was rupees 542 crores as on 31st March 2020. Inventory level has come down to rupees 115 crores, and retention money is around at rupees 285 crores, whereas it was 309 crores as on 31st March 2020. Receivable cycle is around 100 days as on quarter 4, as quarter 4 contributed larger revenue as compared to previous quarter of last year, which got collected subsequently. January and February month generated almost like 424 crores of revenue, and the receivable cycle is around 65 days to 75 days, excluding BHEL and AMTZ project. There is significant improvement in the working capital cycle due to change in the business mix and customer mix. And most importantly, the monthly collection has significantly improved, which used to be 85 to 130 crores just 3 quarters back. Now it has improved to 220 crores to 230 crores per month. Apart from this, a strong order base for our confidence, is building a lot of confidence going forward with a good liquidity position, healthy order book. measures in place to manage projects in the uncertain environment. One of the positive development is the company has generated positive cash flow from operations during this tough time, which is around rupees 122 crores, and we are expecting this trend to continue going forward. Despite an extremely challenging year and major hurdles, especially in a manpower-intensive business and industry as of ours, we have been able to source very good quality orders beyond our target. Overall, the company added close to rupees 4,638 crores of orders, and as you all know, during last year we did close to rupees 1,950 crores. So this forms a strong foundation and gives the company clear visibility for the next 3 years. The order backlog as of today stands at rupees 7,333 crores, which even at a modest execution rate of 38 to 40%, and additional order coming in and avenues being explored gives a strong indication of the state of affairs and growth potential that lies ahead. The company is stepping up the turnover conversion with over rupees 200 crores to 240 crores per month on an average, being managed comfortably, and the company becoming a partner of choice for most of large players across the country. Now I request Mr. Kodan Ramaiah to add few more developments. Thank you.
Satish, and thanks our investor partners and thanks Vignesh. Yeah, I think that is a positive note coming up from Satish on many aspects in a year where a lot of issues we have to face. Obviously, COVID is continuing its the problems out of COVID is still continuing in the entire industry as well as in the business segment and day-to-day life. But looking from the business point of view and the company's working point of view, one thing which is very clear, obvious, is that in spite of these problems, the market has been bullish in terms of the investments. I think that is a very positive thing. But for these investments coming and customers taking new investments on an aggressive note, we would not have had such a huge order backlog developed in the last year. I think that is one of the key years in our entire history, having looked at 4,638 crores of orders in a single year. And if you look at the growth in this year's order booking, it is almost 135% compared to the previous year's 2019-20, about 1953 crores. Now coming to the key segments of how the business has on the marketing side, it has gone up for the company is that today we have got a total backlog of order built of 7,333 crores from a base of 4,575 crores. This is overall increase of 60% in the single year. In the various segment-wise, in the traditional erection testing commissioning, there is an increase of 15% in the backlog from 2,054 crores to 2,369 crores. Civil has been quantum jump because of various diversifications into non-power sector, infrastructure, and other areas from 1,227 crores to 3,584 crores, an increase of 192%. O&M has been an outstanding performance in these years because that is where the base of the company's operations revolve around, and also the margins are protected from 996 crores to 1168 crores with a growth of 17.2%. And electrical, we didn't add anything in this year because we are watching the performance of the ongoing jobs. Therefore, overall, it has been a very good year in terms of marketing and business development and finding out many new customers and new initiatives. Now, coming to the segments on which it has been developed is that I think the entire story, growth story in terms of new orders has come from the domestic sector. Almost 4,624 crores of orders we had added from the domestic, and international, obviously there was not much of activity. That is where we had the issues in international because of the Middle East. We know because of the COVID conditions, nothing much could be done. Now, in terms of the segment-wise breakup in the power and non-power sector, it continues to remain around the same levels. About 66% in the power sector and non-power sector is 34%. And the overall business breakup between domestic and international is 86.6% and 13.4%. So that is in the range of 14-15%, and domestic, the power and non-power is 65 to 35. That trend is going on in the last couple of quarters. Now, the key orders what we bagged last year, I think after 468, from L&T 176 crores from Buxar, Yadadri major combination of civil and structural, civil and mechanical was 545 crores. Railways, a combination of railway works from RVNL, 113 crores. STIAG, 2 into 600 megawatt Singareni, O&M, 5 years O&M contract about 375 crores. Then Kurmitar, first time, a full-time engineering procurement construction job has been taken with very good terms, payment terms and other things, with advances and all from Adani, along with the joint venture partner, Tyson Group, and that is about 198.25 crores. Then 2 key water projects in UP, 982 crores. 2 road projects, one in Karnataka, another in Northeast Mizoram, about 1,000 crores. Then Kurja, we have taken the civil work in the conventional civil work in the main power plant, 135 crores. And then miscellaneous other jobs are there. So these had been the key jobs what we have done it. Now coming to the current year, perhaps we are looking at opportunities for the 25,000 crores. And then traditional ETC business, yes, there are some opportunities coming up in Kurja is there, Talcher is there, and that these 2 projects are done will now. Apart from that, we have pursuing some opportunities in Kudankulam nuclear project, 2 into 1,000 megawatt, which is coming up. That is in the turbine island. There is a scope to do many of the jobs in the turbine island. I will tell you about that. Then in the total opportunities, what we are looking at 25,000 crores with a penetration and success of 4 to 4,005 crores. And here we are looking at key areas to develop the growth in the traditional erection testing commissioning. And then O&M, we want to scale up to at least 900 to 1,000 crores. Last year we had been a very good year for us in terms of O&M, 833 crores. We want to improve it upon that. Then electrical, we are looking at a lot of opportunities have been mapped up. That is how the opportunities will be tracked. Then coming to the key areas of the work going on is that in the apart from the traditional sector, non-traditional sector, non-power sector, the railways we are doing pretty well. Out of 649 crores, in about 6 jobs we have completed 438 crores. And that is in Gudivada, Pattam, almost the lane is completed. Another 5 jobs we have taken from RVNL, that is in various stages of execution. Then the irrigation project is also now shaping up better. Kaleshwaram project, about 350 crores, we have completed 150 crores. Then these road projects have just commenced. I think we have to see the substantial progress will happen in the current year. Cross-country pipelines, out of 330 crores, we have done more than 200 crores. Major job is at Mundra, and then Koyali and Ramanathapuram is under completion. Then JSW, 2 jobs of steel pumps, one at Dolvi, another at Dolvi, almost the job is complete, about 200 crores. Another 200 crores job we are doing it. Together about 70% of the job is completed. These are the key jobs we have done, and major civil works we are doing conventionally in the traditional power sector. Maitri we are doing 552 crores, Yadadri 426 crores, Bhusawal 285 crores, North Chennai 246 crores, Kurja new job which has been taken is 135 crores, and then Manuguru about 160 crores. Therefore, these are all the jobs which are traditionally we are doing it, and they are progressing it. But for the problems what we faced in the COVID conditions, then on the electrical side, the Sadalpur that railway electrification job, 700 kilometers is progressing. We have completed around 65% of the job, and 2 jobs are under completion in Northeast. Out of 5 jobs, what we have taken up in the distribution and then substation works. Then The other major initiative was the drinking water projects, two projects with over 982 crores in the Uttar Pradesh. The DPR is under completion. We hope in a couple of months we'll take up these ones. Now on the export side, not much of new growth story in terms of orders, but in execution we are doing pretty well at Dangote, $76 million, and that is we have completed almost 70% of the work. Then Maitri, that is a total job in Bangladesh, about 855 crores. We have done about 270 crores, 35%. And some leftover jobs we are completing in Middle East, in Bahrain and Saudi Arabia. Then the other major thing with initiative has been the EPC job which we have taken up in Odisha, Kurmitar, 198 crores. The work has just now commenced. I hope we hope that we will integrate with the engineering functions, new challenges we have to face on that engineering, and also working with a very strong partner, Tyson Group. As far as the business outlook and sentiments are concerned, current year we are looking at some of the major opportunities in boiler and turbine segment in the Kulam project. Adani is coming up with some new projects. We have to see how they are going to shape up in terms of thermal. It is on the anvil, but we have to see. In Singareni 1 into 800 megawatts, some opportunities are expected. Then I told you about that Purja is there, and then Talcher NTPC projects are there. Then export, we are planning a few projects in Dubai municipality. Then electrical, there is a huge list of opportunities, but as I have been telling many times in the past, we are trying to see the performance of the ongoing jobs because of a lot of competition, and that's why we want to go a little bit slow on that. On the O&M side, perhaps, the first quarter itself, we have figured out a major job in the case of Singareni Colliery, 343 crores order has come in the first quarter itself. Then we are targeting KPSL combined cycle gas project. Then one Jordan, thermal project, 105 crores, O&M opportunity there, we are pursuing that. There are renewable jobs, about 12 renewable jobs are expected, about 140 crores. That is the jobs which are in hand, which is getting contract, getting completed and getting renewed. Apart from that, the overseas maintenance and shutdown jobs, there is going to be a lot of opportunities, and that we are targeting about 200 crores. And there are opportunities coming with Vedanta also, Vedanta and Balco. Therefore, let us see how we will exceed the last year's achievement of 833 crores in O&M side. And there are in the non-power side, the key opportunities what we are pursuing is the NMDC. There are two opportunities worth of 1,500 crores at Pacheli and Kirandul. Kirandul was a job where we were the L1, it was cancelled, and almost we were supposed to get the order, then it was cancelled, it has come for re-tendering. Pacheli is a new tender, EPC tender. We are joining hands in the case of Pacheli with FL Smith. They are a world-renowned firm for the mineral processing. And in the case of Kirandul, we have joined hands with the Tyson Group. Then RVNL, certain jobs are there. Then mine head works are there in many places, and coal material handling projects. And then infra projects in terms of flood protection, lift irrigation schemes. These are the other opportunities we are looking at it, apart from the water projects and sewage treatment plants. Or these are the initiatives and the new businesses. Now, as far as the business outlook should be considered, I think we should go by the NIP, National Infrastructure Pipeline. I think that has been a good guiding document to help us in focusing on many new opportunities, and we are following it up on that basis, and we continue to see how we can get new initiatives in O&M, particularly in refineries, steel, mining, and coal segments, material handling, and mineral processing. And O&M side, NTPC had taken a lot of initiative last year, and we hope that will be continued in the current year also. So these are the key aspects I would like to bring it out. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 on their touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. The first question is from the line of Dixit Doshi from Whitestone Financial Advisors. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity, sir. So my first question is in terms of execution. So historically, if we see, we used to execute around 38 to 40% of the opening order book. So considering the COVID-related challenges in the Q1, how much execution we can expect for FY22? And if you can share something about how was the April and May in terms of work?
Yeah. See, in terms of execution, if you see last 2-3 quarters, the challenges were completely different. Okay, it was not experienced and the preparedness was missing. Okay, because it's new to everyone. But gradually, Q3 onwards, things have substantially improved. In spite of small challenges due to COVID and all, but the preparedness for executing the site, taking all the COVID precautions, it's well set now. Now we are seeing that the moment is around 220 crores. It will happen per month at any cost. Okay. Now we have seen even post 31st March, okay, April, May also the momentum of 200 crores plus. That moment we have seen, and all the sites are working in full swing. Of course, small precautions have been taken because of the COVID, okay, based upon the local instruction and customer instructions. The protocol has to be slightly changed. The deployment of the manpower has to be slightly tuned to the customer's requirement. But in terms of execution, it's going 200 crores plus.
Okay. Thanks, sir. Secondly, sir, in terms of EBITDA margin, so, historically we used to do around 13% margin. And I understand for FY21 as a full year, we had a bad Q1 and Q2 and therefore the margins are lower. But even if I see only the Q4, our execution was very good, almost over 700 crore. But the margins couldn't come to 13% or even higher. It was just around 10.5%. So how do you see margins going forward? Is it because the civil work, the proportion of civil work is increasing in the overall sales and therefore the 13% margin may not be sustainable in the future?
Yeah, it's partly, it's like there is a lot of improvement in terms of the execution. So because of the cost, of course, it is not proportionate to the execution. Mm-hmm. So I could say that Q1, Q2, Q3, the challenges, whatever we had, those challenges we have not seen in Q4. Okay, but we cannot completely ignore that the COVID is over. For example, as I was saying, like the COVID protocols in terms of deployment of the manpower and the productivity. Second is the safety measurement for all the employees, because we have a large manpower base of more than 15 to 18,000 across globe. So we cannot ignore the safety cost and material transportation, manpower movement and all. So there is last reason is that the margin profile should go up gradually, because the challenges what we have seen in Q1, Q2 or Q3 are different what we are seeing today. I'm sure the margin profile should gradually improve with the environment changing, because there is no reason that with the growth of our education cycle in terms of the top line, the margin should not increase. And one good thing is in terms of the O&M business, the mix also it's going up. So as you rightly pointed, the civil mix with this with the increase of the civil mix, there will be a small pressure in terms of the margins. But having said that, the intention is always that to retain that civil, the core civil excluding the railway, to 25 to 30%. and the O&M will continue to be 25 to 30%. So with the blended, I'm sure that will come back to the normal and plus gradually.
Okay. And just one last question from my side. So, can you give this margin breakup in terms of the 4 different divisions which we report?
Yes, sir. Normally, it's historical. So historically, the mechanical, the erection business, the domestic used to be around 12.5 to 13%, but whereas the international is 14 to 16%. And for operation and maintenance, the domestic used to be 17.5 to 18.5%, and the international it's close to 22 to 24%, but the pie is too small yet to grow. And civil it's in the range of 10 to 12%, and whereas electrical is 10 to 11%. That is been experience. And one more development is like in the business of railway and electrical, we are losing almost like 3 to 4% as a royalty to build a credential, which we did 3 years to 4 years back. Now Power Mech has built enough capability for railway and electrical. So going forward, that may straightly will add to our EBITDA margin. So that is a plus point for Power Mech.
Okay, and most of these contracts are fixed price contract. I mean, the kind of raw material price increase and the inflation we have seen. So are we able to pass on that price increase, or we have to absorb in this contract? I mean, these are fixed price contracts, or we can pass on some cost?
Sir, actually, it's not all the contracts are fixed. Okay, of course, around 20 to 25% contracts will be fixed. Okay, because 18 to 20 months are shorter tenure. Okay, normally the contract will be fixed, but the rest 80% either is covered with escalation or PVC clause. For example, O&M is we have year on year the escalation clause is predefined while taking the contract itself for 3 to 5 years. And most of the BHL and all, okay, the PVC clause and all are well defined. Okay. So apart from that, when we take any contract, okay, which is more than 14 to 16 months, we build some factor towards escalation also, 5 to 6%.
Okay, that's it from my side. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you. A reminder to the participants, anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 now. The next question is from the line of Pratiksha Daftare from Equitas India. Please go ahead.
Hello, Satish. So my first question was that now we are seeing some, as a percentage of sales, the employees cost is coming down, and on the same, at the same time, the contract execution cost as a percentage of sales is seeing some rise. So I just wanted to understand that, is there a material shift in the model that we are going by, that, the manpower, subcontracted manpower is increasing and on the payroll is coming down?
See, there was a shift actually. See, it's overall, if you see, honestly, like the staff cost for Q1, it's gone up actually. Comparatively, Q1, Q2, and Q3, Q4 has gone up because of some of the international contracts. Apart from that, we have taken new O&M contract in India, like especially like the Singering has started, Vedanta has started. Okay. So with the increase of the business and especially the O&M, the staff cost, especially I'm talking about the staff which are in our payroll, that has gone up, and that trend will slightly again will go up during the next 12 months with the increase of the business volume. Okay, that is number one. Number two is the subcontracted manpower base. Okay, that also slightly gone up because Maitri, Yadadri, and Nigeria, those are 3 big sites which are in full swing. So in terms of the manpower number, there is a slight increase.
Maitri, Yadadri, and Dangote.
Dangote, these are like large contracts.
Okay.
Where the deployment is higher.
Understood. Okay.
Yeah.
And
But what will happen is going forward, you will see that because the fixed cost of the manpower which are on our roll, we wanted to keep it confined to a certain level. Okay, beyond that we don't want it to increase. So that will not go proportionate to the business growth, because if you see like the order backlog is quite strong. So we have to ensure that the execution momentum is not less than 220 crores. So that cycle has to go for the entire year. So with the growth of the business, the need of manpower may also go up, but we will not keep our manpower proportional to growth of the top line. So there will be a distribution between our payroll and the subcontractor.
Understood. Okay. And, right now with the second wave happening and with basically, COVID cases going up in general in Q1, are we facing any new labor availability issues? Like, do we see a concern on that at our side?
Yeah, Ramaya here, Satish. I think that is a valid question. You see, the last COVID cycle, if you see, the manpower strength had almost less than half in the case of May, June, July, August. Then it picked up in the last quarter, third quarter a little bit. In fact, in the fourth quarter, we reached a peak of 16,000 people. That is the key for our turnover in the site jobs is the manpower. I agree with that. Apart from the O&M augmentation, what we have to make it. O&M did not get affected much. That when they were operating at their levels. But what has happened in the second cold wave, this COVID wave, perhaps up to March it was reasonably well. That's why we could exceed that target in the case of fourth quarter. But now the impact in the April, May, the manpower strength has come to 11,500. There is a dip of 25-30%. Now we hope with the second wave abating and for this year's turnover, if we say 250 to 250 crores of turnover, what we have to do, we have to augment the manpower somewhere between 16 to 18,000 for the site working to reach those levels. Apart from the O&M, we don't expect much of impact. Of course, the key aspects is to complete see the progress is achieved properly in Dangote, then Yadadri, and then Maitri. They are all the major jobs, and then the new jobs what we have taken in various infrastructure jobs also. There we hope this downward trend in COVID continues, then the manpower is coming back now. We hope it will reach the 15 to 16,000 peak, and that turnover should be possible. Unless the third wave again gives a huge impact.
Understood.
See, the good part is like wherever we have mobilized the sites, okay, those sites are fine, because see, now any site new sites we mobilize, probably we need to see how to deploy the manpower. Okay, if the challenges continue, we have to adopt a different strategy to start the new contracts.
Understood. Got it. Okay. So, Satish, we've been seeing that, okay, there was a focus on reducing our debt level, and on year-on-year basis, we see that the debt has come down. But on a Q-on-Q basis, I don't know what was the debt reduction, but certainly the finance cost has gone up. So my question is for FY22, what kind of debt reduction do we target? And is there a specific reason why we see the finance cost go up?
Yeah, Pratiksha, see, the peak debt during this year, when our execution level has come down substantially by 50%.
Right.
And the collection have dropped from 200 crores to 185 crores to 110 crores. So we have resorted to utilization of more debt. So the peak debt went to 590 to 600 crores.
Okay.
So today that has come down to 470 crores. So that liquidation reduction happened again from the realization of the working capital, especially the final bills and implement of the receivable cycle. Okay. Now the plan is at least to reduce by another 50 to 60 crores by next 12 months. Okay. The efforts are slightly for a larger number, but we have to see how the collection pattern improves and all. Okay. Today, see, in spite of all the challenges, good that last 4 to 5 months we are seeing the collection pattern is in the range of 180 to 220 crores, so which is a very good cycle. So
Right.
if that momentum continues, probably we should be able to comfortably manage the reduction, because the operating cash flow, which is surplus is 122 crores, with the growth of the business, okay, assuming that my retention money, there will be some realization. On top of that, one of the good development is the Andhra Pradesh AMTZ. Okay. So which a significant amount we have been working for a realization. Government has put a condition that every payment has to be supported by a government order, which is a new thing we are seeing in Andhra Pradesh government. Now finally, after a lot of efforts, they have brought a new government order that the payment has to be processed, Power Mech. Now the government order is released, which is a public document now.
Okay.
So now that the government order is released for the release of the payment, now they're working on the paperwork. So that start realizing. So that will leave around the 45 to 50 crores of surplus cash. So this 120 crores of operating cash flow, at least if maintained at the same level, will be comfortable to reduce by another 45 to 50 crores.
Understood. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. We will request the current participant to please come back in the question queue for any follow-up questions. The next question from the line of Vishal Biraya from Aviva India. Please go ahead.
Hi. So of the 7,300 crore order book that we have, what proportion would be slow-moving orders?
Sir, thanks to God, no slow-moving, sir. It's every been excluded now. What we are talking is all the running projects, and there is no single contract which have not started at ground. Even the new contract which we got from Singareni recently, that is also been executed, and the manpower, whatever is required, it's deployed. So there is no single contract which is slow-moving or not moving at all.
Okay. Any contract where the payments from the clients are slow, and that is the reason you have reduced the pace of execution?
Not been the case, sir. See, the experience is like, it's like BHEL and non-BHEL. BHEL, we are seeing in India, domestic, okay, there is slight delays around 75 to 90 days, okay. But BHEL in Bangladesh, it's 45 to 50 days. But if we take out BHEL, it's around 65 to 75 days. That is on track. Now, though the order quality is strong, okay, now the focus is choose the quality orders, especially where the payment cycle is good. That is very important. Otherwise, what will happen is, again, the working capital, we have to look for fresh working capital, which we don't intend to. So we kept a decent target of 4,000 to 4,500 also only, okay, because now our opportunities are plenty. We are looking for a quality order of 4,000, 4,500 crores, not beyond that, so that we can comfortably sail through.
Okay. And one last thing. So when you analyze the international markets, post-COVID, has there been a change in competitive intensity, or it continues to be as competitive as it used to be pre-COVID?
No, in the international market, what we have got is Bangladesh. What we are doing it, we have got a good presence there, and based on the new opportunities come, we'll definitely be taking a call on that. But in the case of Middle East, yes, there had been a setback in the case of new orders and investment, compared to the earlier couple of years, that has dried up now. But a few opportunities can come up. And as far as the competition is concerned, yes, it is a question of competition, what we have to work with EPC contractors and mine developers. And we have got a good presence there, and we have got a manpower force of 2,000 to 3,000 people now established. We have got an organization working in various sites. We have got resources deployed. Therefore, when the opportunity comes, good opportunity comes, we will be one of the preferred contractors to work with the EPC contractors. And that is because of our strong presence in the last 5-6 years.
Yeah. So just to follow up on this, when you say the Middle East orders have taken a setback, you mean that you would have lost some market share there? Or
No, not because new opportunities did not come up last year.
Okay, that is the only
because of the COVID, not because.
Yeah. And the last 12 months would have seen a lot much traction in the international because of COVID travelings and all.
Yeah.
So maybe another 6 months, we may not expect much orders happening from the international side.
And we are not factored much of the international orders in this year's plan also.
Yeah.
Except a few here and there.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. That's it from my side. Thank you.
Thank you. We would request the participants to please limit your questions to two per participant. The next question is on the line of Deepak Poddar from Sapphire Capital. Please go ahead.
Understand now you mentioned about debt reduction of about 10 to 12% this year. So similar decline is what one can expect over the finance cost as well?
Sir, there are two ways to interpret. See, one, in terms of interest cost, we are expecting there will be some reduction. Okay, one of the element in the finance cost should come down. Okay, but as the business is going up, in terms of non-fund cost, it will slightly go up. But overall, we'll see that the trend will come down as compared to this year.
Yeah, the non-fund cost will go up because business is increasing.
Yeah.
But your debt-related interest cost will go down.
Interest cost will come down. So you'll see year on year during the next year, we are expecting some reduction in the finance cost overall.
Right. Understood. And understood that point. And over the next 2 years, maybe by FY23, any sort of execution level we are looking at. So any sort of trend or comment that you can share on next year? Maybe I know it might be a little difficult on your part, but
Sir,
you can have some comment.
See, what is important is the internal bandwidth to execute the projects. Now we have the manpower base, we have the capability, we have the infrastructure today to execute in the scale of 600 to 850 crores per quarter. Now that has been set now. And second is now what is important for us to convert the projects which are on hand to ensure that all are getting completed as per the contractual schedule. Now, difficult time, Q4, we cannot say that the COVID is completely over and the challenges are completely out, but still we could demonstrate 750 crores plus, which is a very good thing for us. We are so happy. So taking that momentum to 850 crores will not be at all difficult in a normal scenario. So there is huge potential to improve the execution bandwidth. So now the team is set for 850 crores. Now that we wanted to gradually take up to the next level over a period of time.
So 850 crores a quarter. So if I look at FY23, at least 3,300, 3,400 kind of execution is quite possible.
That bandwidth is already set now.
Yeah. Fair enough. I understood. Yeah, that's it from my side, and all the very best.
Yeah, thank you, Deepak.
Thank you. The next question from the line of Satyan Wadhwa from Profusion Capital. Please go ahead.
Good evening. I might have missed a little bit because I got disconnected, but just wanted to get a sense of what execution you are looking at for the next 3 quarters. I would imagine that first quarter this year would be a little bit of a dip due to the second wave of COVID and reduction in manpower. So would 3,000 crores or in that ballpark be a right estimate for this year's execution, and margin should stay at 4Q levels or slightly better than that?
So see, the execution now what we are targeting is 200 to 220 plus per month. That is the target now. We are on track now. So normally what happens is quarter 1 and quarter 2 comparative will be less, and quarter 3 and quarter will be high. So seeing the current scenario, definitely quarter 4 what we have done, maybe next quarter, Q4 of next year will be slightly better than quarter 4. So, but the target is to see that 200 crores of execution or 200 crores plus execution is taken care every month. That is the target now. And in terms of margin profile, yes, there is a lot of improvement in terms of margin profile. We are trying to come back to the normal at least gradually because of COVID protocols and all, there was a little bit disturbance, but it is not so bad what used to be quarter 3 or quarter 4. There has been substantial improvement in quarter 4, and this profile will slowly, gradually it will improve. And on top of that, the railway and electrical, where we used to lose the royalty, now we have built in-house credential. Now the new projects, whatever we are quoting, so we are not losing the royalty for borrowing the credentials. So that should also help in terms of improving our margin.
Yeah. Satish, what I would like to add, what you said is that I think what you said is correct. The last fourth quarter is demonstrated plus 700 crores. With the backlog increasing in the last quarter, last 2-3 quarters, with 7,333, maybe the first quarter will have a dip because of the conditions still, the COVID conditions are there. The second quarter, to some extent, monsoon will also play a usual role. Therefore, we don't count much on the first and second quarter. But if COVID fully normalizes, I am sure 750 to 800 crores of getting the sales in the third and fourth quarter should be positive. That should not be an issue because to that extent we have got the resources, manpower. Manpower also will be augmented for that. And as far as the resources are there, we don't have to add up any new resources. We have to utilize the existing resources. A lot of big ticket contracts will be in the pipeline, and that is a good season to perform. Therefore, that should be positive.
Yeah.
And is there a timeline for the current order book to be executed, like within 2 years, or does this stretch out to beyond FY23? The current order book of 733 crores.
See, O&M contracts are between anywhere varies between 1 to 3 years, and some of the contracts are 5 years. Like the Vedanta contract what we have taken, and then the Singareni contract what we have taken are 5 years. Some contracts are 2 or 3 years. But the life cycle, average life cycle for a O&M, it may be 1.5 to 2 years. In that, the renewals is expected to come about 15% of renewals every year. 150 to 200 crores will come as a renewal. Therefore, we don't have to look for new orders. That is the average cycle time. In the case of infrastructure project, it will be anywhere between 2 to 3 years. That is the life cycle time of the infrastructure projects, big ticket projects. In the case of, for example, the latest job what we have taken with Adani along with Tyson Group, that has got a schedule of 25 months plus 2 months grace period. Then the drinking water project has a cycle time of 2 years. Therefore, you can say that the conversion of 40% should be valid with this backlog available. That is where Satish is confident, that per quarter, up to 750 to 800 crores should be the achievable. That should not be a challenge provided things get normalized.
Right. I was only trying to get a sense of what the ramp up in FY23 would be over 22 in terms of execution growth. Would that be like 20% or a little bit less or more? Just trying to get a sense.
So now, it's seeing the order book. Now we have got backlog of 7,333 crores, and we have kept a target of 4,000 to 4,500 for this year. So, and the existing order book has to be adjusted or to be completed, 2.5 to 3 years maximum. So seeing the backlog to the conversion, should be less than 20-25%. It has to.
Correct. So then you should typically be north of 3,500 crores in FY23, right?
So assuming 35% conversion also, still there is because what will happen is one important factor is the O&M. Now today it's in the range of almost like 661 crores, which is more or less flat. And 2022, taking Singareni and Vedanta, we have to do close to 740 crores. And that 745 crores will be close to 1,100 crores or 1,150 crores 2024. So that's why it's well set. It's autopilot mode. It's going on now. What we need to work is only the rest. Maybe around 30-70% we need to work.
Right. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Amit Mehandale from Robo Capital. Please go ahead.
Hello. So, congrats on good set of numbers and thanks for the opportunity. I have a quick question on Q2. As things stand today, slowly the lockdown is opening up, and we were expecting Q2 to be slightly better, but I mean, just referring to your comment that Q2 will be a little softer. Can you just share some light on Q2?
Yeah. I tell you, the main point of Q2 is there are two things in this. Positive thing is if COVID comes down, the manpower is returning already. I told you the peak strength of 16,000, it has come to 11,600. Now it should go up to 13, 14,000 and then 15, 16,000. Now what is going to happen is that along with the lockdown liberalization, the monsoon sets in. That's why that is one of the factors we normally try to scale down the turnover in the second quarter to that extent. That's why I was a little bit more conservative on that aspect. But by the time August end and September, things will ramp up fully. And then that's why I was confident, with the present backlog of orders and the big ticket orders to be executed and the cycle time being well set, there will be a lot of pressure from customer side also to deliver this year's targets, and already that pressure is there. Therefore, that is where I said 800 crores per quarter afterwards should be possible.
Right. Thanks. I have one last question. For Q4, can you tell me what is the cost, non-recurring cost for Q4, COVID-related non-recurring cost in rupee terms?
So this year I could say it's around 6 to 8 crores. Okay. That I could definitely say it's a non-recurring cost because it can be transportation, it can be a safety cost, and it can be a productivity loss. Because
could you repeat the number? I was looking for Q4 number because, Q4 there is a certain EBITDA margin, say 10.4.
Sir, that's 6 to 8 crores, sir.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Sarthak Goel from Care Ratings Limited. Please go ahead.
Hello. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for this opportunity, sir. Actually, I have a few questions. So, how much would have been, we know that, Ministry of Finance and the Government of Andhra Pradesh and few other governments have taken this initiative of, extending project timelines and releasing fixed security deposits for the APC projects.
In Andhra Pradesh?
Government of Andhra Pradesh, Ministry of Finance, they had earlier in October, November, they had extended some project timelines and relaxed contractual obligation pertaining to fixed security deposits to be maintained by the contractors. The work.
Sir, honestly, we do not have any contracts in Andhra Pradesh.
Okay.
Yeah. So whatever we had is we have completed. Okay. So, but what I've come across is to support the cash flow, the government in few projects, not all the projects, wherever the execution portion is completed, for that retention money they've supported to release. Though it was linked to the completion project and thereafter warranty, but during the contract period itself, for the portion which is executed, they've released the retention money.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
And sir, coming on the figures basis on the balance sheet side, could you give me amount how much will be the mobilization advance on our liability on the consolidated level and work done and not billed?
See, now it's around close to 75 crore mobilization advance.
Okay.
And work done not billed is close to 380 to 390 crores.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, because see, quarter 4 itself, March, we would have done close to 320 to 330 crores, significant amount. So that will definitely have a spillover amount.
Okay.
Yeah.
So one last question, sir, regarding our loss this year at console level. I was seeing the taxation part of it. So the deferred tax credit, it refers to our deferred tax asset, correct, sir? So it's because of the deferred tax adjustment over there, our PAT has reduced, from PBT level. Correct?
Yes, you're right, sir. You're right.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Pratiksha Daftare from Equitas India. Please go ahead.
Yeah. So my follow-up question was, so you mentioned there are key sites right now, that big sites that are going on is, Maitri, Yadadri and Dangote. So I just wanted to know that what is the level of completion here and what kind of, execution we expect on these key sites in this year?
See, madam, Yadadri, it's now the billing is on an average 15 to 20 crores per month. Similarly,
Okay.
which used to be 6 to 7 crores, okay, that we have taken up to 20 crores per month. And that momentum will continue.
Yes.
Per month.
Okay.
And Nigeria, this almost close to 10 to 12 crores. That will also continue to be that range, probably maybe another 4 to 5 months. So these are the 3 big projects. Of course, thereafter Bhusawal is there, okay, which is almost 5 to 6 crores.
Bhusawal is 5 to 6 crores right now.
Yeah.
Okay, so what, like on a project level, how much of completion is left to be done for these projects? Like, how do we look at that?
Actually, the Yadadri started just 1 year back, okay, will be close to 20-25%. And Maitri is almost like 55 to 60%. And
55 to 60% complete for Maitri?
Yes, madam, yes.
Okay.
And Dangote, it's almost like I could say it's 80% plus.
80% plus is done. So this will be completed in another 5 to 6 months.
We are targeting this year itself. Maybe probably by October, November, max before December, we should close that project. That is a target.
Okay. And Bhusawal?
Bhusawal, it's 25%, madam.
25% complete. Okay.
Yeah.
And I just want to verify this part. So you mentioned that the margins for O&M business in India would be 13%. I would have assumed it would be a little higher.
No. O&M will be slightly, it's on average, it works to 18%, okay, 17.5 to 18.5%. And the O&M, same business in international, we enjoy slightly larger percentage, but the quantum is small.
Okay. And this 3% royalty increase that we are expecting in railway projects, this will be typically categorized under electrical? Or
there are 2 portions, madam. One is the electrical pipe, that electrical comes under the electrical. Apart from that, what we do, the track link, signaling, culverts, bridges and all comes under the civil. Today it's 7%, that we wanted to take it up to 15% next 3 years.
Okay. Understood. That's all from my side. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, madam.
Thank you. A reminder to the participants, anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 now. As there are no further questions, I would now like to hand the conference over to the management for closing comments.
Yeah, thank you everyone for joining us in this earnings call. And the presentation and the results are already uploaded on the website. If you have any further questions, please do feel free to get in touch with any of us or with our consultant SGA. And thank you very much, and stay safe, take care. Thank you.
Thank you. On behalf of Nirmal Bang Equities, that concludes this conference. Thank you everyone for joining us, and you may now disconnect your lines.